welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a question and answer video. Yesterday I did a poll on both of my Instagrams and asked you guys what sort of questions you want me to be answering. So I have got them all here. The question number one, am I bisexual? So this is an area of my life that I am a bit new to. I never really thought I was into women at all until around maybe like 8 months ago when I started developing an interest in them, and luckily my partner and I have a relationship where I can explore with other women, like we can have fun with them together. So that's been really cool to see whether I actually am bisexual, if it's just like a sexual thing, or it's been really cool getting to explore that part of my sexuality. And I don't really have an answer just yet because I'm still so new to it. So I don't really have a label on anything. I definitely find women very attractive, and I definitely love being around women, and I love like very feminine energy, very similar to my own. So I don't really have a label on it yet, but I am very sexually attracted to women, and I enjoy being around women sexually as well as mentally. So I guess, yeah, you could say that I like women. What was my first opportunity as a model? So the first real photo shoot I ever really did was, 2018, I think. I had a swimwear company called Zandy Swimwear. I'll tag them in the description box. But yeah, so they reached out to me and asked myself and my best friend to shoot their bikini products for them, and it was just like a normal beach shoot. And I had so much fun, and I fell in love with it, and turns out I was actually pretty good at it. After I did that, I didn't really do anything for another sort of 6 months because I was in my final year of uni. And then towards the end of 2018, I had a couple of photographers reach out to me, including Luck Shooter and Lachlan Please. I will also link them below. And I did my shoots with them, which went amazing. We got some incredible photos, and the exposure from those shoots kind of made my Instagram blow up. And yeah, then it just led to more modeling opportunities and to where I am now. Why do I prefer CrossFit to normal gym training? And the biggest answer is normal gym training bores the shit out of me. I get so bored training by myself. I get so bored doing slow like bodybuilding type movements. Like, no hate to anyone who enjoys those. I know that they have their place and they work really, really well. But just, yeah, normal 24/7 gyms were not my thing. I wasn't motivated. I wasn't, feeling like I was getting my competitive outlet met. And I would just really slack off. So I got into group training through like functional trainings, through like PLCs and things like that, which I freaking loved because I'm very competitive. So it was a very great, healthy environment for me to get that out. And then I transitioned into CrossFit about earlier this year, and I've fallen in love with CrossFit and Olympic lifting. And I guess the main reason why I like it so much is, one, it's competitive and a healthy outlet. Two, it's a group environment, and the community, like the CrossFit community, is incredible. The sport itself is just incredible in terms of camaraderie and just support, and people who really just genuinely enjoy training. Three, I love the style of training. I think it's challenging. I think it's fun. You're never bored. There's always some new skill that you can work on. And in terms of the Olympic lifting versus like normal just lifting weights at the gym, it's just more fun. Like, the movements are more diverse. The movements are more enjoyable. They help you get better mobility, better flexibility, better strength everywhere, really. And I just feel like CrossFit in general just makes you a really well-rounded athlete. How do I stay accountable to myself after making time to set goals? So I set goals very frequently. I'm very lucky that my partner Lewis introduced me to the world of, goal setting and getting shit done and outcomes and things like that very early on in our relationship. So that has been a huge help for me, and he's been a huge help for me because I was someone who never really did this before, because I would get scared, or I would be scared of failing. So I would just never really set goals, never really try to do anything better, and never really hold myself accountable either. So I think in terms of holding myself accountable after setting these goals, one, my partner, like Lewis, helps me so much. We go through our weekly goals every Sunday. We review our week, what we did well, what we didn't do well. Did we hit our goals? Did we hit our outcomes? Like, what do we need to improve on? We do that every Sunday without fail. Every single morning when I wake up, I read through my goals. I read through my purpose that I've got written down. I read through all of the things I want to do, my values, everything, and I kind of connect it all together, and I just really reinforce that into my mind, that that's why I'm doing this, and that kind of gives me a bit more motivation. But you know, I'm not perfect. I struggle sometimes I fall into the habit of being a little bit lazy, or you know, making excuses for myself and not getting it done. And that's why I feel like in terms of accountability, you really need to have people around you who are gonna hold you to that. So Lewis is very good at keeping me accountable. Lewis is very good at the tough love. I think also my family are like that too. My family are very goal oriented, so my mum and I can chat about that a lot, and she helps me. So I think maybe the biggest tip would be surround yourself with people who are like you and who want to better themselves and who want to create more goals and who want to create bigger goals and actually hold themselves accountable and deal with the toughness, deal with the tough love when you don't do the shit that you're supposed to do, and hold you accountable to it so that you stop making excuses for yourself and you actually achieve what you want to achieve. Cool. So now we have another sort of similar question in terms of like motivation and accountability. So how do I motivate myself to work out? I honestly think the biggest piece of advice in terms of movement / working out is you've got to find something that you enjoy. Like when I was at a 24/7 gym, I didn't go. I hated it. I wasn't motivated because I didn't enjoy what I was doing. When I found CrossFit, I found a sport or a style of training that genuinely makes me happy and that I enjoy doing, and I like to kill myself every day when I go there and go through these workouts. But it's what I love, and that's why I'm motivated to do it. So I think in terms of that, number one is find a sport, find a style of movement. It could be, you know, dance. It could be karate. It could be anything you want. Just find something that you genuinely enjoy doing, and don't try and force yourself to do shit that makes you unhappy, because you're never going to be able to stay motivated doing it. And two, I would say, is try and remember the why you're doing it in the first place. Like for me, I want to be healthy. I want to be strong. I want to move well my entire life. I want to be in my 80s and being able to lift weights and move well. I want to be really healthy during my pregnancy. When I have kids, I want to be able to be healthy after I have kids and bounce back really fast. I just want to have a great healthy body my entire life. And so if I find there are times that I'm struggling with motivation, I will link it back to those, because it kind of makes me see it from a different perspective, being like, okay, well, I don't really want to go to the gym today, but like if I go to the gym every day, if I make this effort to go, it's going to affect these other areas of my life that are so important to me, and it's going to make me more well-rounded as a human. It's going to make me achieve these goals faster. So I just help tie it in, and that kind of makes me feel more motivated. Okay, how do I feel about TikTok constantly banning me? So for those who don't know, I had an account on TikTok that had 1.3 million followers that I worked very hard to build up over the last year, and it got deleted maybe 2 times, and I got it back both times, and then recently it's been completely deleted. There is no way of me getting it back, which was honestly quite disheartening. Having put that much work in it and having to start from scratch again was really, really not fun. But you know, it is what it is. I think when you have social media accounts, you have to remember that realistically you don't own that account. That platform owns that account, and if you go against the rules, they are going to do it, even if you disagree with the rules. I personally disagree with my accounts being deleted, because I think with the content I was posting, I was getting flagged just because I happen to have, you know, bigger boobs or a bigger butt, and because I'm confident showing my body in a bikini or spreading body positivity, or even just posting BTS from my photo shoots, like from my work. And I would find that the platform is incredibly unequal when it comes to that. Like there would be videos of, you know, women who are smaller than me, quite thinner, you know, in tiny little bikinis, and that's not a problem. Or, you know, guys in sweatpants dancing with everything sort of shaking around, and that's fine. But the biggest part that frustrated me the most was that, you know, my accounts would be removed for nudity or something when I was, you know, wearing something like this, which I get has a lot of cleavage, but still, like, it's just boobs. But the part that really bothered me was that, you know, I was constantly seeing things like TikToks with rape jokes, constantly seeing TikToks with misogynistic comments, hate comments, you know, homophobic comments, homophobic content, bullying, hate speech, all of these things that are really actually terrible and should be banned from the platform. And, you know, they just wouldn't bat an eye to that. You know, the amount of comments or like private DMs I've had on social media being like telling me that they're going to rape me or that they're going to kill me, and I've reported it, and the platforms have done nothing because it doesn't go against their guidelines, but, you know, my boobs do. So that's the part that kind of frustrated me the most. But I mean, you live and you learn, and I've started a new account, and it's, you know, in the mid 20,000 followers now, and it's going to take time, but I'm looking at it as a positive because now I get to really put in more work and I get more growth out of it, and I can really work on building up a better platform. Am I a smoker? Cigarettes, tobacco, absolutely not. You could not pay me to do that. Weed, on the other hand, yes. I personally think it is something that should be legal. If alcohol is legal, then marijuana also should be, because in my opinion, I think alcohol is way more damaging on the body, way more damaging to people's senses, and people do dumber shit when they're drunk. I don't think it's a healthy choice. So that's why I prefer to smoke instead. I feel like when I am high, for example, like I can think deeper. I think more deeply about my life, what my goals are. I have deeper conversations with people. Like my partner and I, we have the most incredible deep conversations when we're both high. I am much better at handling constructive criticism when I'm high, so that's when I do a lot of my goal setting. I just feel like it allows me to think more, it allows me to relax, and I just feel like the benefits of marijuana are insane, and I don't understand why it's not legal. Do I have cellulite? Yes, I think almost every woman on the planet has cellulite, and I don't know why as a society we've built up this narrative that cellulite's a bad thing, that it's ugly, that we shouldn't have it, when it is something that most of the time is completely out of our control. Most of the time it's genetics. You know, you've got top tier Olympic athletes who have cellulite. You've got people who are the healthiest people I've ever seen and they've got cellulite. I think it is something that's crazy that has been used to target women's insecurities over the years, and I think that there is a real issue with that, and I'm really glad that we are bringing light now, especially through social media, that cellulite is something that's completely normal. You don't need to be insecure about it. We all have it, and it's not a problem. How did I start singing? So a lot of you guys don't know that I'm actually a fully trained opera singer. I've been singing since I was 8 years old. I got into it because my grandma is also a singer. My whole family basically are musicians. I've grown up with music. Music was my entire life. But I guess you could say what really got me into lessons was I saw the show Phantom of the Opera and I fell in love with it and I wanted to be Christine. So my grandma got me into singing lessons when I was 8 years old. Straight after that, I started my first competitions when I was 8 years old as well. So I did Eisteddfods and all sorts of singing competitions all throughout my childhood life. And then when I was in high school as well, really, really big into the singing aspect. You know, I went overseas and sang at events there, and I've sung at lots of concerts and weddings and things like that my entire life. And then when I was 18, I got accepted to study a Bachelor of Music at the Conservatorium of Music in Brisbane. So I was studying classical voice and opera, which is honestly what I love. I mean, I love all types of music, but for me personally, my voice, a lot of people have said it's kind of similar to a Disney princess. So I just loved classical music. I loved the way it made me feel. I loved being on stage. Like, I've done musicals my entire life. But yeah, so I did that for 3 years at university. Absolutely loved it. By the time I kind of finished my third year, I'd fallen out of love a little bit with it. I kind of needed a break. And that was 2 years ago. So now I am just getting back into music. I actually have a big concert coming up in December that I'm very excited to be a guest soloist at. But yeah, so that's why I'm starting music more on my channels, because it's something that's been a part of my life since I could remember. My mum jokes about how that I used to sing before I could talk. So it's something that's very, very important to me, and I share a lot of memories with my family with, and it's just something that makes me very incredibly happy. But yeah, that's how I got into it. Am I 100% natural? Yes, besides my lips. So my entire body, my hair, everything else in my face is completely natural. I've had lip filler. I had lip filler for the first time in February of this year and freaking loved it. I am booked to get some more done at the end of the year. I would probably just be getting lip filler maybe every sort of 8 to 10 months or so, just as a little top up. I just like the way it frames my face a little bit more. But yeah, other than the lip filler, I am completely natural. Favorite place I've ever visited. So this actually ties back into the question about how I got into singing and music. So when I was in grade 11, I think so 16, I was part of the choir that was selected to go to Turkey, to Gallipoli, and perform at the dawn ceremony on Anzac Day. So we went to Turkey for a week-long trip, and we got to sing at dawn for the Anzac Day service in Gallipoli, where it all happened, and it was the most incredible experience of my life. For starters, Turkey is the most incredible country. Like Istanbul itself it's so forward thinking in so many ways, but then it's so old-fashioned as well. It's just the most incredible city. There is so much culture and art and food and history, and I love learning about other religions, so that was really great. But being in Gallipoli itself, as a 16-year-old, you know, growing up in Australia, a white woman as well, it was very confronting. It was very confronting, especially seeing the graveyard of all those soldiers, especially all the Australian soldiers. You know, some of them were younger than me who fought in that war. And it was a very moving and very eye-opening experience in terms of perspective and how lucky I was and how grateful I was to be there. So we got to sing on Anzac Day. We sang a couple of songs, including the Australian and New Zealand national anthem. So we were there at, 4 a.m. And while we were singing, we were, when you think about Gallipoli and World War One, you think about, the very first siege, which was where they got off the boats and there were these massive cliffs and they were all basically slaughtered. And while we were singing, our view was these cliffs. So we were looking at exactly what those soldiers would have seen right before they died. So that itself was extremely moving and extremely humbling and very, very confronting. It was a very emotional trip. But I would say that's probably the favorite place I've ever visited because of the amount of meaning it had with it, because of the culture and because of being able to learn about history, because I really enjoy history, and just being able to be there and experience something that not many people will ever get to experience. It's still probably one of the most emotional and rewarding and experience of my life, and I'm extremely grateful that I had that opportunity as a 16-year-old to go and do that. How do I feel about showing off my body on social media? I personally feel fine about it. I have always been very comfortable in my own sexuality growing up, and I come from a very female-oriented family as well, and my mum always had very, very good morals and very good attitudes around being confident around sex, being able to be open about these sorts of topics and things. So I guess showing off my body was just part of that. I only really started doing it when I was 18 or 19, and I will admit when I first started I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I had a lot of issues that I hadn't worked through yet, so a lot of it when I first started social media was for attention, and I'm not ashamed to admit that, because I think it was a very big learning lesson for me to learn, because by getting that attention I got a lot of criticism as well. So that was a very big obstacle to tackle, and I'm a lot better for it now. But now when I do it because I genuinely enjoy it. I genuinely think women's bodies are beautiful, especially with that artistic nude modeling that I've done a few times before. I think it's so empowering and so beautiful, and it makes me love my body more. It makes me feel more confident in myself, and I really like pushing against the stigma that women can't show off their bodies, that women can't be sexual, women can't, do all of these things without being labeled, a whore or a slut, or, I've got no self-respect, or, oh, she's got daddy issues. I really like pushing and fighting against that stigma, and I feel like by the content I post, that helps go towards that, because for some people it can be quite confronting seeing, especially if you've grown up with internalized misogyny where it was something that was frowned upon or something that was really heavily judged. It can be quite confronting, so I really enjoy helping people change their mindset around it. So yeah, I love showing off my body on social media, and it's something that I'm proud of. What drives me to be better, and what is the main reason that I push myself to be more than I was? I think for me, I really, really value education. I really value knowledge and learning and growth. And I'm a very competitive person, and I've learned to kind of put that competitive edge into myself. So how can I be better than I was yesterday? How can I be better than I was a week ago, a year ago? How can I continue to improve myself? And my quality of life. So that's one of the questions I kind of ask myself all the time. I'm very fortunate that I come from a very hardworking family. I come from a family of women who are incredibly ambitious, incredibly passionate and vocal and hardworking and very intelligent. And I'm very incredibly lucky to have a partner who pushes me so much and who challenges me to grow and who helps me grow. So a lot of it does come down to that. But also I just feel like life is too short not to change, and I believe that we as humans are supposed to evolve. We're supposed to take in new knowledge. We're supposed to change opinions, be passionate about things. We're supposed to grow. It's part of our evolution, and I just feel like if I can be better than I was yesterday, then that's all I need to do every single day of my life. And I also kind of relate it back to my goals and my vision for my life and my values. So I have a really high value on family. I cannot wait to be a mother. And I just think, the more I learn, the more I grow and evolve myself, the better of a parent I'm going to be. I'm going to be a much better parent for my children. I'm going to be able to teach them so much more knowledge. I'm going to be able to help them learn how to grow and evolve and learn new things. And so that's something that's really, really important to me. Thoughts on foot fetishes? Personally, I'm not into them, but I don't kink shame, and I'm really kind of sick of us as a society, kink shaming people, telling people things are weird or telling people things that are not okay. I am a huge supporter of sex ed, sexual education. I'm a huge supporter of sexual liberation as well, being able to be open and honest about your sexuality rather than sex being such a taboo and hidden subject where people have so many issues that they cannot deal with because they can't talk about it. So I do not kink shame at all. I personally do not have a foot fetish, but I welcome all consensual supportive fetishes. Do you need a connection to be intimately involved with someone? For myself, I would say I need some type of connection. Like there needs to be some type of either, if it's just to have sex with someone or something like that, or like you've just met someone, there definitely needs to be some type of physical connection for me. If there is no physical chemistry or connection, then I'm probably not going to do it. In terms of mental connection, yes, I would say yes, because as well as the physical connection and the physical chemistry, I still need to be mentally stimulated. I still need to make sure that you're not a jerk. I still need to make sure that you have similar values to me. Like I would never want to sleep with someone who was homophobic, for example. So yes, I would say having an established connection of some form. It doesn't have to be deep, but just having some sort of connection formed would be great. So those were the questions I chose to answer today. I had a lot of them, but they were kind of the ones that stuck out to me the most that I wanted to say something about. But yeah, I hope you guys got to know me better. And like I always say, if you really enjoyed my content and my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, or even share it on your social media platforms. I would really appreciate that. But that will do us for today. Love from me and Dexter.